I thought my marriage was fine. Then my neighbor started inviting my husband over for advice. At first it was innocent. Then she said, "He's been venting to me. You should really appreciate how patient he is." When I asked him about it, he said, "She just understands me better sometimes." I checked our phone bill. 73 calls. One at 2 a.m. I asked why. He said, "I couldn't sleep." The worst part? My sister knew, and said nothing. Let me tell you something about betrayal, it doesn't come loud. It comes quietly, like a draft under a door. You feel it before you see it. My name is Camille. This happened in Eugene, Oregon, in the house I used to think of as my safe place. I was 37 when it started unraveling, married to Grant for almost a decade. We weren't a fireworks couple. We were steady. Predictable. Comfortable. No screaming matches, no dramatic breakups or get-back-togethers. Just a solid, normal life. We had our routines. Thursday night pasta, weekend walks through Alton Baker Park, lazy Sundays on the couch. No kids, but that was by circumstance, not choice. I'd made peace with that. I didn't make peace with what came next. It started when Brenna moved in next door. She was maybe 5 years older than me, early 40s, with long auburn hair and a laugh that carried. Divorced, with a teen son who visited every other weekend. She moved into the house that used to belong to an elderly couple who passed away within months of each other. I was polite. I brought over a tuna noodle casserole like something out of a 1950s magazine and welcomed her to the neighborhood. She smiled wide, said it was so sweet of me, and made a point to ask if my husband helped me cook. That should have been my first flag. But I just laughed and said, "Not unless we're grilling." The first time she asked for Grant's help was with her garage door. I didn't think anything of it. Grant is a fixer. Always has been. He enjoys being useful. Then it was her dishwasher. Then a light fixture. Once, her smoke detector was beeping and she couldn't reach it. I teased him one night, "You're gonna end up as her live-in handyman at this rate." He just grinned. "She's harmless." I believed him. Because he was my husband. Because that's what marriage is. Trusting without having to second-guess everything. But things started to shift. One afternoon, I came home from work early and saw them on her porch. She was sitting on the railing, tilted toward him, laughing too loud. I stood in the driveway watching them before I pulled into the garage. Grant saw me, and his whole posture changed. Like he got caught doing something. That was the first gut punch. My instincts told me something wasn't right, but I told myself I was being paranoid. Then came the moment I couldn't ignore. I was in the front yard raking leaves when Brenna walked over, smiling like we were girlfriends. "He's been venting to me," she said out of nowhere. I blinked. About what? She just tilted her head. Just stuff. You know, marriage stuff. You should really appreciate how patient he is. I felt my stomach drop. She wasn't warning me. She was taunting me. That night, I asked Grant if he'd been talking to her about me. He didn't deny it. "She just understands me better sometimes," he said. Like he was saying the weather had changed. Like it was no big deal. I stared at him for a long time. Understand what? What exactly is there to understand that I don't? "She listens," he said. "She doesn't interrupt." I went upstairs before I said something I'd regret. But I didn't sleep. The next morning, when he went for a jog, I got into our phone account. I had to reset the password. He usually handled the bill. I wasn't snooping. I was verifying. 73 calls in 2 months. Some short, a few over an hour. One call at 2:08 a.m. lasted 17 minutes. I printed the log. When I confronted him, I didn't yell. I laid the printout on the kitchen table and waited. He looked at it for a long time before he said, I couldn't sleep that night. That's why you called her? She was awake. I just needed someone to talk to. And just like that, I stopped trusting him. But that wasn't the worst part. I called my sister, Olivia. She lives 20 minutes away and we're close. Or we were. I told her what was happening, asked if she ever noticed anything weird between Grant and Brenna. She paused too long. Then she said, Camille. I didn't want to get involved. But yeah. I saw them once. At the market downtown. They were sitting at a table, having coffee. He touched her hand. You saw that and didn't tell me? I didn't know what it meant. Maybe it was innocent. I hung up on her. I don't hang up on people. But I did that day. That was the moment I realized I was on my own. No allies. Just me. But I didn't leave. I started watching. I didn't leave. Not yet. That's the part no one understands unless they've been there, when your life is falling apart but you're still stuck inside it, pretending everything's fine because you don't have a plan B. Instead, I started preparing one. I bought a burner phone from a Walgreens across town. Cash only. I started taking pictures. Of text logs, of the call records, even of Grant and Brenna when they didn't know I was watching. I felt disgusting doing it. Like I was the one cheating. But I needed proof. Not for a courtroom. For myself. To stop doubting what I already knew. I stopped sleeping in our bed every night. Claimed I had back pain and moved to the guest room. Grant didn't push it. He was too busy texting her. I saw the reflection of his screen in the mirror one night while brushing my teeth. Her name was saved as B. One night, I looked at him and said, You love her? He didn't say no. He just said, I don't know what I feel right now. That was enough. I started digging deeper. Looked through our joint bank account and found 2 Venmo transfers, small amounts, $45 and $60. Labeled as reimbursement. When I clicked for the details, it was vague, thanks for the help and for the project. I asked Grant what that was about. He said, Oh, I bought a part for her dishwasher and she insisted on paying me back. But the receipts didn't match. The part cost $18. I know because I called the hardware store. So why the extra? I started following Brenna. I know how that sounds. But I did it. She had this habit of walking her dog around 7 every morning. I followed her from a block away. She'd stop at the same corner each time and talk to someone in a silver Toyota. I got close enough one day to see, it was my sister, Olivia. That hit me like a truck. They were talking casually. Laughing. So I waited until Brenna left and pulled up behind Olivia's car. I knocked on her window. She jumped. Rolled it down halfway. What the hell is going on? I asked. She looked nervous. Camille, don't make a scene. A scene? You're meeting her? Behind my back? She reached out to me a few weeks ago. Said she wanted to talk. About what? You. And Grant. She said she was worried about you. I couldn't even speak. My throat closed up. My own sister. My blood. She's manipulating you, I said. You're too blind to see it. She didn't say anything bad, Olivia whispered. She's confused, Camille. And Grant's, he seems overwhelmed. You defending them now? I'm not defending anyone. I just think maybe you and Grant need a break. I drove off before I did something I'd regret. That was when I realized, this wasn't just a marriage falling apart. This was a betrayal campaign. And I was being circled like prey. So I started pushing back. I stopped trying to save the marriage. That ship was already at the bottom of the ocean. Now it was about something else. Control. I started with small things. I moved money out of our joint savings into my personal account. Not a lot at once, just enough so he wouldn't notice. I changed the password on my car's GPS app. He used to use it to locate me when I was out late. I turned off location sharing on everything. I cleared my browser history daily. He didn't ask questions. That was the part that made me sick. He didn't even notice. Too busy hiding his own secrets to care about mine. Then I got smart. I reached out to someone Grant hated, my old college roommate, Mia. They clashed years ago over politics, and Grant couldn't stand her. I told her everything. Not just about Brenna, but about Olivia too. Mia's a paralegal. She knew exactly what I needed to gather if I wanted to prepare for divorce, or worse. She told me to look out for signs of financial prep on his end. Changes in insurance policies. Unusual cash withdrawals. Secret credit cards. Guess what I found? A Capital One statement addressed to a P.O. box I didn't recognize. It had Grant's name on it. I only found out because he left it in his jacket pocket. The jacket I was supposed to take to the cleaners. It had a $900 charge to a hotel in Bend, Oregon. A spa package. 2 dinners. All dated 3 weeks ago. Same weekend he told me he was going on a guy's hiking trip. I called the hotel. Told them I left earrings in the room. Gave them the room number off the statement. She hesitated but finally said, "We have that under Grant Delaney and Brenna Holtz." Full name. Like they weren't even hiding. I stared at my phone for a long time. I didn't cry. I didn't scream. I started planning something else. That weekend, I invited Olivia over. Told her I wanted to talk. She showed up with wine, acting all concerned. We sat in the kitchen. I let her talk for a full 10 minutes. Let her pretend she cared. Then I pulled out the hotel receipt. The phone logs. The screenshots. Her face dropped. "You lied to me," I said. "You were meeting with her. You knew about Bend." "I didn't," she stammered. "I mean, I knew something, but I didn't know he went there with her." "You're lying." "I was trying to protect you." "No," I snapped. "You were protecting them." I told her to get out. That I never wanted to see her again. That when this blew up, and it would, I hoped she remembered this moment. Sitting in my kitchen. Watching everything she thought she could hide unravel in front of her. After she left, I called Mia. "Help me tear this thing down," I said. She didn't even hesitate. It took 3 more weeks to get everything ready. 3 weeks of pretending. Of smiling through dinner. Of letting Grant kiss me goodnight while I held back bile. I stopped sleeping altogether. I stopped eating meals unless I was alone. Every time I looked at him, I saw a stranger. Not the man I married. Not the one who held my hand when I thought I miscarried. This man, he had already left me. He just forgot to take his body with him. But I was done being the victim. Mia helped me hire a private investigator. I couldn't afford much, but I didn't need weeks of digging. I just needed proof. Hard proof. The hotel was already something, but I wanted faces. Dates. Times. The PI got photos. Of Grant and Brenna coming out of her house early in the morning. Of them shopping together for furniture. One picture showed them sitting side by side at a small brunch spot in Springfield. She was holding his hand. He kissed her palm. Mia handed me the file and said, "Are you ready to use this?" "I'm ready to bury them." We waited until Olivia's birthday. She was throwing a small party at her place. Of course, Grant and Brenna were going to be there. I wasn't invited, obviously, but I had a plan. I sent Mia with a USB drive. Inside were the photos. Screenshots of texts. A full printout of the phone bill. The hotel charges. Mia handed it to Olivia right in front of everyone and said, "Camille wanted to make sure you got this." Then she walked out. Grant called me 2 hours later. "You crazy?" he screamed into the phone. "You want to humiliate me like that?" I was calm. I said, "You did that yourself." Brenna tried texting me. "This was so unnecessary. You could have handled it like an adult." I responded with one sentence, "Adults don't f*** their married neighbors." I blocked her. Then I filed for divorce. Quietly, quickly, with everything stacked in my favor. Mia made sure of that. Grant moved out 3 days after he was served. Took only 2 duffel bags. I didn't ask where he went. I didn't care. But the twist? He didn't go to Brenna's. Because she was done with him. Turns out, she didn't want a full-time man. She wanted the thrill. The emotional crutch. She never expected me to fight back. When I exposed them, she flipped on him. Fast. Her own son found out, kids talk, and suddenly she was the town joke. The woman who seduced a married man and got dropped. And Olivia? She tried to fix things. Left messages. Sent cards. Even showed up at my door once. I didn't answer. She made her choice. She sat on that fence too long and got caught on the barbed wire. In the end, I sold the house. Too many memories in those walls. I moved to a small place near the river. It's quiet. Peaceful. People always ask if I regret how I handled it. If it was too much. No. Because I gave everyone a chance. I asked questions. I gave them the space to come clean. To be decent. They chose secrets. I chose the truth. And I live with that just fine.